Hey everyone, Larry Chen here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're still at Holley LS Fest in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we're featuring something that is slow and low. This thing is so cool. As soon as I saw it in the car show area, I knew I had to feature it. We got Josh, the builder from Tucson, Arizona. What's your shop's name?
Common Ground Motorsports.
Thank you so much for bringing this build. And
Absolutely.
This is a new build.
As new as it can get. Yeah, it's we were working on it about 20 hours ago.
Okay, so there's something about this. It's just the way it looks. It is so commanding, and I just cannot believe how much longer it is than pretty much every single car at the car show, and also in the autocross paddock, the drift paddock. This is the longest vehicle.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, it's long.
All right, so what did this start life as?
So this is a 1970 Cadillac Deville. Obviously not quite like this. Customer came to us because nobody would do suicide doors on it because of being a convertible, and it's a very daunting task. We tackled that for him, and at that point he decided to take this build to the next level. So we were honored to be able to do it, and from there it kind of snowballed.
I see that. So let's do kind of a walk around here.
Okay.
One of the first things that I noticed, the paint is immaculate. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
So you guys do that in-house?
Yes, 100% of this was done in-house. We do all the fabrication, paint and body. We are a father-son business. I do most of the fabrication, shop management. My dad does all the paint and body, does all the spraying. We did actually mix this color ourselves. We call it Carolina Candy. It's a 3-stage paint. It's obviously got a metallic flake in it. It's got 2 different stages of blue pearl, and then it also has a candy coat on it.
It is so incredible just to see the sheen and the way it interacts to the sunlight. But then in the shade, it's completely different.
Yeah, one of the coolest things that I like about this color, it does what we call flop a lot. So as the hard body lines hit the sun, it changes color on a really crisp line. But if we were able to see this car under what we call gas station lights or under yellow lights at night, it almost glows. And that has to do with the candy and the pearls in it, but it's a remarkable color. We mixed up 16 different colors using pearls and metallics and candies until we finally settled on this.
It's just so much surface area. I mean, in terms of a panel that is one piece, it can't get longer than this quarter panel here. This is crazy.
It's long. Yeah, it's long. It's long and it's flat, but it is also rounded. This is basically a body man's nightmare. It has to be perfect because you're basically looking at a long piece of glass.
Yeah, I mean, it is reflecting everything in its path, but this is a 1970. Both you and I weren't alive when this car was new.
Correct.
I can't imagine this being new. Could you imagine just driving down the road in this? It's just brand new, off the showroom floor in 1970. You gotta just feel like $1 million.
Yeah, we get at the show today and yesterday, we actually got quite a few people that come up and they go, oh, this looks like Boss Hogg's car. And as a matter of fact, it's the same year, make, and model. So yeah, and especially now, I mean, you hop in it and you cruise down the road and you know, you feel like you're driving a 20-foot vehicle, and it's luxurious and it's smooth, and
it is of the era, and it's cool that it existed. There's just nothing else like it on the road, and you know, it's the only one at the show. How long is it actually?
19 feet 8 inches. We figured that out about the night before we were coming to the show, when one of those little details got overlooked and we were trying to get it in the trailer, and we have a 20-foot trailer, and we have a little box in there that we had to take out and do some maneuvering, but it does fit. It's very snug, but when we measured it, that's when we figured out it's just shy of 20 feet. It's big.
It's really big. Okay, so I'm walking around here. I don't really know where you've shaved it, and that's the point, I guess.
Yes.
That's the good point. So tell me, what have you modified on the outside of the body to make it smoother?
Every single panel. So this car had trim that ran up this body line on the quarter panel, chrome trim up here. There was chrome trim that ran the full length of the body down here. There was trim that went around the fender skirts. There was actually black trim that went between the bumpers and the body. We tucked the bumpers to get rid of that. There was trim on the tops of the fenders. There was trim on the rocker panels.
Obviously, door handle.
Yeah, we shaved the door handles. And then we also did suicide doors. That's kind of what snowballed this project.
But yeah, that's a really big highlight. That's the thing about this. One of the things that you were telling me before we started rolling is that it's actually very hard to do because of the structural integrity of the actual body.
Yes, so most manufacturers engineer doors with all the weight on the hinge side because that's smart. When you do suicide doors, that's very counterproductive. So engineering the hinge is more than just geometry of trying to get the physical door to swing and clear the quarter panel. You're also dealing with not only the weight of the door, but all of the weight on the door on the opposite end. So you're dealing with leverages. This car has power windows, and the big thing was keeping the full function of the power windows. You've got mechanisms in there, you've got glass in there. All of that takes up real estate that is needed for the hinge setup.
On top of that, this is a heavy door.
It is a very heavy door. It looks proportionate on this car, but if you see it next to another door, it's remarkably long. And we do a fair amount of work on Cadillacs, older Cadillacs. We do all classic stuff. I don't know if technically Cadillac used a different metal, but I do all the metal fab, and I can tell you, working with metal, it is a thicker, different metal when you're dealing with classic Cadillacs. That comes with weight, but yeah, this is it's a very heavy door.
Can we take a look at this mechanism? So how does it open from
So
the outside?
Inside, from the outside we use a key fob. From the inside we use a button. So it's fully electronic with a mechanical safety override, just in case anything happens.
So let's see what it looks like when you open it.
You want me to do it from the key fob? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
from the inside, doesn't matter. That is so cool. So all of this is shaved.
Yes.
And did you have to make rubber for this?
The seals are very modified. That's another thing a lot of people don't think about when doing suicide doors. All the seals are designed to close in the fashion of the original door. So your rear seals are made to be pinched, your front seals are made to be squeezed, and we had to modify all of them to make that work.
And then the mechanical releases down here in
Correct.
case the battery is run down or for whatever reason this solenoid or this system is failing.
Correct.
You can still get out.
Correct, and that's
case of
on both
emergency.
sides. Electronic things will fail eventually. That's just the nature of it. So at some point, 10, 15 years down the road, it's going to need to be serviced, and this is one of our clients that's not in the state we're in, so we want to make sure that he doesn't have any inconvenience if something like that happens.
Yeah, so you had to create all of this striker,
Correct.
all of this setup here.
Yes.
And then, so does that mean you have to strengthen this? You have to put like a panel here?
Correct. There is a lot of bracing in there. Our two hinges are roughly here and here. You can see them from the inside. The back side of those, there's bracing roughly about this much inside the quarter panel to support the weight of the quarter panel and the doors. The reason nobody else, I feel, the reason nobody else would tackle the suicide doors on a convertible is you have a main structure under the body that supports because you don't have a roof on a convertible. We had to brace into that. Hanging the weight of the door off of the quarter panel is counterproductive to that bracing on a convertible. So because of that, there is a lot of engineering and bracing that is hidden inside the quarter panel to make sure everything is structurally sound enough for the door as well as the convertible top and still be safe.
Let's talk about the engine bay.
Okay.
There's just so many things to talk about because everything is modified.
Everything.
There's not one part that is not touched.
Most people, when I start talking about it, they ask me what's not modified. The front and rear bumpers are not modified metal-wise. We did strip them, re-chrome them. We did tuck them a little tighter, get rid of some of the trim around those. These light grills are original styling, re-chromed, and the speaker grill in the back seat. Other than that, everything has been modified.
So what are we looking at here?
We are looking at a 2009 Gen 4 6.0, basically a truck motor. And then this is kind of how we do most of our LS swaps. We always custom paint them to fit the vehicle. We did the sheet metal intake. Again, this is more for looks. And then we've got a 6L90 behind it. Aftermarket billet serpentine setup. We actually started to do a shaved firewall on this build, and the client came down and checked it out, and he said, you know, what would be super awesome is if we had something that would kind of cover it. And he wasn't really aware of like the whole engine bay paneling concept. We've dealt with it before. And so we worked up this idea to do a full paneled engine bay. It's nothing new. You know, there's a lot of people that do it. As we go through, you'll see it just kind of snowballs. So that's where we're at. Under the panels, it's still fairly clean. Everything's wire tucked. We do custom AC lines in-house and everything, so.
Yeah, so this really is just the updated, modern Cadillac that looks old.
Right. So the whole concept was he wanted his 70 Cadillac. This has been in his family a lot of years. You know, it's got a lot of nostalgia to him. And he wanted that. But he wanted it in a 2015 to 2020 version. You know, he wanted it to be new and drive new and ride new and operate new. That's how we ended up here.
That is very, very cool. AC, good power. I'm sure this has so much more power than the stock motor.
Yeah, so this was a complete running driving. We drove it into the shop with the original, it's a 472 Cadillac motor. They're monsters. They make a lot of torque, but they're just not modern. This is I would say it's probably just under 400 horse. You know, it's nothing super fast, but with the 6-speed automatic that's in it, the 6L90 and the gearing we chose, it's a very nice driver. It's a very nice cruiser. It'll get up and go plenty good enough, you know, like a somewhat performance luxury car. And that's kind of what we were going for.
Next thing I want to talk about are the wheels. This is very standout. I would say it's the showiest part of the car, but I think it fits the theme.
I don't feel there's a lot of vehicles out there that can pull off this wheel, and I don't feel there's a lot of wheels that would work on this car. It's a very unique build. It's a very unique car, and so that's why we reached out to US Mag, and they set us up with these custom-made wheels, custom offset, everything like that. So
it looks cool because I'm sure it was a challenge for you guys to find a wheel or find a wheel and tire setup that looks good on it, because you're used to just seeing that meat, just so much rubber,
yes,
right? On this one, when it came stock, what did it have, 14-inch?
It was a luxury car, so they had 15s.
Oh, 15s.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then now you upsized it quite a bit. What are these?
These are 22 by 9s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about the interior. It's very, very roomy.
It is.
What did you guys do to the interior? This leather is so plush.
Yes, so that is true Italian leather. We work with, like I said, we do everything in-house. Interior, I guess would say is kind of a gray area. We do work with a guy in a company called Sosick Interiors, local to us in Tucson. He's actually family as well. And he does all the sewing, creates the seat covers. He did the sculpted foam on the seats. He did the door panels and everything like that. We do all the install and the design in-house with him. We work hand in hand with him. So yeah, he killed it on the interior. The client hasn't even seen it yet, and we changed it dramatically from the original plan, so I hope he's gonna be okay with it.
Did you guys make this to match the wheels?
That actually is a piece of irony. So we were getting this build going, and we had to put a steering wheel and a steering column in it, and we stock a minor set of parts and stuff, and we sell some parts to clients. I mean, we're not a parts business, but so I went into the office and I grabbed a steering wheel that was just one of our displays, and I slapped it on there because I needed to steer it. And not thinking about it, we used that for all the testing, and we were getting ready to come here to actually finish up the build. And we had the wheels on it, and with the custom grille and the spacing of the bars on the lights, we started looking through wheels to try and see which one we would think would fit. We talked with US Mag about making a custom wheel, and unfortunately the time frame just it wasn't going to work. And so that I went out to take the wheel off and kind of stood back and looked at it and realized it just kind of matches perfect, we think.
I think so too.
That was more of an accident. Yeah. Yeah.
Can we take a look at the trunk?
Absolutely.
Everything is touched on this.
Everything.
What did you guys have to do to refinish the top?
It's a completely new top. The entire frame, we disassembled everything. We had to rebuild a couple of little pieces, pivots and stuff. It's been stripped and painted, and then it's a whole new top as well. So everything, seals, all of that.
It just doesn't, there's no way to explain how this sits. It's just so cool to see how much more car there is behind the last seats here.
Yeah, it's a whole nother car. And see, this is what I was saying about electronic stuff. My battery is dying in this thing from being at the show, and everybody wants to see the doors and all that. But because of that,
oh, you have a manual release.
We have a manual override.
Yeah. Show me the manual release.
So behind the seat here, we used one of the original door handles. The customer wanted to use some of the original stuff, and so with that, we have a mechanical release, and now we're able to open the trunk.
And what's behind here? Did you guys hide like air suspension and
yes.
everything?
So it is a dual Vera compressor, 6-gallon tank, AccuAir auto E-level system, the ECU, the tank, the compressors, everything is hidden behind there. And then in the side panels is the rest of the audio system, the amps, the wiring, the subwoofer, and then on the interior, all the audio systems hidden as well.
So cool. Slow and low. Love it. Love it so much.
The auto leveling, it's got automatic climate control, it's got the fully electronic push button shifter. That's a pretty nice feature that I like in it.
Were you guys able to keep the cruise control?
We talked with the client about it. We are able to, but he decided he didn't really want to work with that. So we could have, and we could still add it later. But he does
I love
have
the gauges.
So those are new vintage gauges, and we've been working with them. There's great guys over there. They make an awesome product, all American made. Those are real glass lenses. So when you clean them on dusty days like today when the wind is killing us, you don't have to worry about scratching the lenses or anything like that.
I like that you bring the outside in with this center console setup. You have some USB chargers, all the window controls are there.
Yes.
Is that where they are normally?
No. So the original car had everything in the door panels, like most vehicles. And when we talked with the client, the main focus of this build was kind of to showcase less is more. And a lot of people kind of laugh when I tell them that. They say, well, this is less, this is over the top. But it's more of a simplistic idea. There's nothing in the door panels. Everything's kind of isolated, a clean, sleek, kind of look.
It's definitely a showstopper. It's so cool. This is one of the things I always like to talk about. It's hard for me to relate to this. I didn't grow up around this kind of car culture, but I can appreciate it fully because of how much time, dedication it took you guys. How long to build it?
We're at about 2 years right now. Yep.
I'm sure on and off, getting parts, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, parts acquisition is killing everybody right now. But yeah, it's been a lot of man hours in fabrication. I know I did the engine bay panels, and just in the engine bay, the panel fabrication, not including the paint work and everything, I've got somewhere between 80 to 100 hours just in fabricating the engine panels.
The main thing I also like about this build is that it's meant to be used. It's meant for daily driving use.
Yes.
And that's kind of one of the things that you guys like to promote. This could have lived on, I'm sure, as an original vehicle or something that was, unrestored.
Yeah.
But now you've created something that's extraordinary and that will live on for a long time.
Yep, that's kind of the idea. We like to build things to use. A lot of people build show cars, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We like to build show cars that you can use. You know, this car can be daily driven with the 6-speed automatic and the push button shifter and the automatic climate control, you know, stuff like that. Being able to drive this vehicle in a situation where if an airbag fails, you know, there's no tire rubbing. You can drive this theoretically on the bump stops, you know, if you need to, and you can do it comfortably. So things happen, you know, there's just situations happen, and so we try to plan for that. Things like the mechanical overrides.
That's a modified car thing.
Yeah. Yep.
But while you can daily driver this, good luck trying to find a parking space.
Yes. You're not fitting in compact parking. Maybe 2 compact parking spots, but
maybe trailer parking.
Yeah. Truck stops.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to be sitting at.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, we're almost done here at Holly Ellis Fest, but it's been awesome. We've featured a lot of cool builds, and Josh brought this really, really cool Cadillac. But yeah, see you guys in the next episode. Cool. Thank you.